Recently, a friend gifted me a box of old postcards spanning the decades all the way back to the early 1900s. Along with the postcards, there are about 30 old-time portrait photographs. These date back to the 1880s up to the early 1900s. Some of these older postcards really stuck out to me because they were ones that I had never seen before. I got to thinking that perhaps some of these were one of a kind, with no other copies remaining in existence. Here's one of the boblo boat Columbia from the early 1900s. Looking through the postcards and organizing them, I came across one that I thought was perhaps the rarest one of them all. This one here, sent on July 7, 1910, from a place called Pelton. Here's the front. It's a group of 4 men in front of a train. The front of the train reads Père Marquette 45. I'm guessing that the men are part of the train's crew. I showed the postcard to some train people that I know, and it got them rather excited. The card was sent from a place called Pelton, a place that I had never heard of. I quickly Googled the name and was shocked to see where it was on the map. Zooming out on Google Earth, and you can see Pelton located near 401 and Provincial Road, inside the boundaries of the city of Windsor. After sharing this photo with several local train enthusiasts, I learned that not only was this postcard sent from Pelton, but the photo was also taken at Pelton. The train experts were able to determine that because you can actually see the intersection of 2 railroads in the photograph. Looking at the men in the photo, I was curious to know who they were and what all of their jobs were on the train. And judging by the men's clean hands, I believe that they may have just started their shift for the day. I also wondered if perhaps one of the men in the photo is the same Fred that mailed it all those years ago. Some of these postcards were not mass-produced, which may account for why some of the train aficionados had never seen a copy of it before. There may have only been a few of these cards ever produced. The only other thing of note on the card is the 1-cent stamp depicting the then King of England. That's King Edward VII. Queen Victoria's son, who ruled from January 1901 until his death on May 6, 1910. So by the time this postcard was sent, he had already passed away and his son, George V, was king. I was able to find a few photos of Pelton Tower online. Sadly, all of them were very low resolution. Not to be deterred, I asked my friend Jordan if he could attempt to up-res the photograph for me, and this is what he was able to do. Wow, the resolution of this photo is so clean now that I can zoom around and get a better look at the area. Pelton, in its original form, no longer exists. Originally, it was a community surrounding a tower known as Pelton Junction, a switching tower located at the point of junction where the Michigan Central Railway crosses the Chesapeake and Ohio, then known as the Père Marquette Railway. The junction served a dual purpose, for besides serving as a switching yard, it was also a message center. Telegrams were phoned out of the junction from Windsor to people residing in the Pelton vicinity. Fred Moore and William Washbrook were 2 well-known towermen of the Pelton Junction. Could the Fred that mailed the postcard be Fred Moore, who worked at the Pelton Tower? Perhaps. Of the 4 men in the photo, I can confidently say that 3 of them look like they work on a train, and 1 who looks like he may not. Is this man with the bow tie and the tilted hat Fred Moore, the same Fred who sent the postcard? The postcard says, "Look for us on August 7th. In 1910, August 7th fell on a Sunday. The card has 2 postmarks on it, one from Windsor and one from Leamington, both on the same day, August 2nd, 1910. Sent to Mr. E. Delorier in Leamington." I asked the researchers at the Windsor Public Library Local History Branch what they could tell me about Pelton, and they got back to me right away with several newspaper articles from the same time period. From October 31st, 1908. 3 lives blotted out by suburban car. Walter Gilhula, Francis and James Battersby, returning from a pancake party, were ground to pieces near Pelton Station. How's that for a headline? Apparently, the men didn't hear or see the train coming. The train's motorman would eventually be charged with negligence for the 3 deaths. Here are some photographs of the Pelton Tower being torn down on November 26, 1991. Is this man the Fred that sent the postcard all those years ago? We may never know. For what it's worth, he's the only man in the photograph not wearing overalls. Pelton, by all accounts, is long gone, but funny enough, it still exists on a map of the region, serving as one of just a few reminders of a long-forgotten chapter in Windsor's history. For more Windsor history videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Michael Evans, Windsor, Ontario, or my Facebook page, It Happened in Windsor. Do you have an idea for an episode of It Happened in Windsor? Please let me know in the comments section.